Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Samu. I'm here as the host today, and today we start with Division 5 finals between Remember the Name and that is Porte, which as much means as the Rice Gate? According to Google Translate at least, so let's see. Anyways, for the first video of today, I will be joined by Josh and Dusty Jim. Welcome you two.
Hello.
Would be an interesting match. Remember the name? Actually, ninth in Division 5 standings, so someone unfortunately had to drop out. But
Or it was
uh,
some head-to-head or something stuff which made them not be in the ninth place, but actually in the eighth. So
the
let's see.
report, which actually translates as a T Rice Gate, are actually first in the standings. So a very different kind of matchup compared to what I've been casting tomorrow, and a very certain underdog story being set up right before our eyes.
Indeed. Let's see. As for first of all, before we can jump into any draft, we have to, of course, know where to go in this draft. For that, we can see that Remember the Name, they did get the first map choice and therefore the first ban, removing Ultrac Pass and Dragonshire Resporter with the first pick in the first game, removing Tomb of the Spider Queen and Towers of Doom, not liking the maps with T, apparently. And then we do have Sky Temple as map number 1 between Remember the Name and there is Porte here in this first best of 5 of today.
Well,
I'm waiting on players.
we do have the red team stand to ban first. I'm afraid I haven't done my draft prep yet. So we are flying in blind, which on one side makes it harder, on the other side makes it more interesting. And well, Sylvanas is going to be our first ban, a very macro-oriented pick. He is able to do quite a lot with that passive.
Yeah. Actually, there are interesting bans against both teams. So against the report or whatever it's pronounced, people banned Samuro and Maiev. Like it's the top bans against them. So let's see if it's consistent. You don't want to play against Samuro, especially on Sky Temple.
You never want to play against the Samuro if you know that the person who plays the Samuro knows how to play the Samuro. It's just a big unstoppable pushing threat in the late game.
Yes,
Also,
and people banned Junkrat and Falstad against Remember the Name, so we'll see if they will be able to get their hands on the chicken.
The chicken seems to be open right now. Let's see if it will get fried or potentially.
Okay, yeah, these are top bans
As my
against the report. Yeah,
gonna end up being banned against the French. And well,
are they gonna take the chicken away?
I mean, it's Sky Temple. It's probably a macro map, so I'm going to expect a lot of globals being taken out. Brightwing being one of those.
Yes,
De facto,
another flying creature instead. Well, Falstad is open. Come on, guys.
Indeed, Falstad is open, but there's of course another global in the map, right, Josh?
Oh yeah, definitely. Artanis, who has 2 global abilities at level 10. Well, but we do have a false attended Enduin picked up early here, so not too much different from what I see down in the Division 7, honestly. Hogger being picked up alongside the Johanna, and yeah, seems like a rather normal standard draft, except for the Hogger maybe, who not many teams in Division 7 and Division 6 know how to play.
And because we are climbing up a bit higher into Division 5 now.
One of the top 2 picks for the report. The first is Orphea, actually, and the third is the Brightwing.
Yeah, very juicy picks coming in. Let's see if we do see the Orphea later on coming in as well. But first of all, we do see the band coming out from Remember the Name, and that's a big no-no to Orphea.
Yeah, we'll see her, but not in the picks. In the bans.
At least.
There's a lot of target bans here against the Resporter with Samuro, Maiev, Orphea. Also, as you mentioned, over the general season, do they have some sort of OTP in their team for those heroes?
That's a bit too much research.
Yes, Yoshi is quite quiet. I know, because he refuses to talk in his microphone. Anyway, you do see Garish being removed now as well.
And also am currently doing research because I have been stuck playing a very annoying game of Quick Match. However, we're not here to talk about my Quick Match, we're here to talk about that GarageBand, who is not a character that I see quite often, but is a character that can be rather annoying. And now Samu is going to indeed be rather happy because the Haka has been picked.
Yeah, the Haka kind of ruins the full Warcraft setup that could have happened for Remember the Name.
Which is fine, because they got two globals already on Sky Temple, a very macro heavy map. The more damage you manage to get onto structures, the less temples you have to take to kill the core eventually.
Yeah, I mean, the
also
Haka
very
is fine. When Samu is on stream, then the Haka is always fine.
Except if it's Ultra Pass or you go Grief builds, of course, but that's a different story.
What do you mean? It's a damage build. You have to kill those carries.
Ready for action.
And very nice also.
Yeah, 4 Warcraft heroes against 3 Diablo heroes. Let's see which universe is stronger.
Well, there is a Diablo 3, but there's no Warcraft 4, so I think my choice has been made for me.
There's Diablo Immortal though. Don't you own a mobile phone?
That also means that they will not die. So, all the more sense to root for the French.
I actually don't know. I think I'd prefer the red draft a little bit. But it depends on the execution.
Which one do you prefer, Josh?
The right one, actually. I think.
2 votes for red and 1 vote for blue, and I'm going with the Haka, because, yeah, well, I kind of have to, I guess, at this point, you know? It's like...
Oh.
I have a guy standing right there with a whip. If I'm not saying I'm in for the Haka, he's, you know, played on when you don't see me anymore and you don't hear me. But yeah, that's how my life goes. Yeah, Sky Temple though, really big map, a lot focus onto those objectives, of course, but also there's a boss in the and on the side of Remember the Name. We do have also with the control, so let's see how it goes in game number 1 of this best of 5 series. Remember the Name against the Porte. Take it away, Dusty Jim and Josh.
So on the red side we have the report, right? If that's how we pronounce it, with Cefclop on Hogger, Eposius on Johanna, and Tristesse on Liming, and Stasis on Cassia, and Tarul playing Brightwing.
While on the left side, we do have Remember the Name with Ogresa playing as the Falsehood, Burners on the Dihaka, Galvan playing as the Murden, Shrimp on the Enduin, and standing in, we do have Azok, and I have to give Azok special treatment because otherwise he's gonna ban me like this. But we do have a very early fight over there on the top side, not much done. We do have the report pick up that little bit of illusion early on, but the Haka stays just to make sure that it goes in blue team's favor. After trading the initial blows, teams of course going to the mid lane, going to pick up some soak, and then rotate downwards.
Yeah, so far 100% leak rate. 1 leak, 1 hit. We'll see how it goes later on. We have a big brawl in the bot lane. The teams are preparing to take the siege camps, I assume.
The camps are up right now, which means that they must go down. However, the teams prefer to assault the mid lane instead of prioritizing those timings. I don't think it should be that big of a problem, considering that they might just get it at the same time, which means that they don't lose anything.
Yeah, and Hogger and the Haka are just casually double soaking top and mid, as you would expect. But there's a bit of a rotation by the red team, actually mirrored by the blue team's rotation to the mid lane, but nothing special happens. So we just chill. I guess we're waiting for level 4.
The next objective for the teams would probably be those hard camps. I've actually seen a team once takes a hard camp first and then takes the easy camp, so that the easy camp will stack over with objectives and be very annoying for the other side to contest. But Over here, it's not how it's done. People are preferring the much more common way of taking the siege camps first, but we do see
Yeah, the
they're
Cassia rotates to the bruiser camp, it seems. And of course, Brightwing can always TP on her if she needs help.
You can also go bot lane if things go sour down there, so Brightwing will just be able to pick up that soak in the mid lane or going in and joining the Cassia as a normal way without any teleporting.
But somehow the blue team is actually ahead in its game, which is interesting.
So blue team have been trying to soak, have been trying to catch those waves, and they haven't actually sent anyone to the camp just yet, which means that they have more pushing capabilities and therefore can kill those minions a little bit quicker. They are gonna rotate now, and you see that the XP lead has been diminished enough right now. The first set of temples is activating, however, which might clue us in how the game will go later on.
Yeah. Is there anything unusual about the talents pick so far? Force armor for Lining against Chromie, I assume.
It doesn't feel too unusual so far. We do have that report actually pick up both of the temples right now. That will be a nice little advantage in terms of the macro game later on. And
Yeah, that bruiser camp in the top lane surely helps them to have the lane priority, which allows Hogger to basically freely get the objective points.
however, we do see the blue team contest the objective in both the mid and the top. In the mid lane, there's actually a little bit of a fight as Galvan is gonna get polymorphed and lose half his HP, but half is not full, and unless he loses full HP, it does not quite matter. There's
the
a
blue team
but
finally gets their level 7, so... But Meridian is pretty low, so they decide to back off.
Hogger actually wins the 1v1 in the top side, but we do have a Gracer just flying up, and Galvan wants the help as well, securing the 5 shots in the top side for Remember the Name. They will lose the actual temple phase. I think more shots have been fired by Terriport, but in the end, it's a very nice attempt to stop the bleeding, stem the bleeding, stop the damage taken, and just do some of
We're almost 5 minutes into the game and still no first blood. What's going on?
the higher we are gonna get. I think the less kills we will see, because the teams will know not to overextend, not to force stuff unless they're absolutely certain that it will result in their own victory. And it does seem like the teams are actually playing quite safe. I mean, Terriport have been going for the early hot camp, which, if you're the one doing the hot camp first, I don't think you really want to fight, so they recognize it and they just move a little bit back.
Yeah. Nothing is really available on the map except for the boss, but no one wants to take it, no one wants to take the risk. So we just chill until level 10, I assume, or the next objective, or both.
It's actually interesting because I think both teams want to take the boss, but you don't get to take the boss if you're onto the boss first, usually, because the boss will just take your team low, and you're also in a very gankable position for the other side to just show up and steal it right in front of your noses, adding insult to injury by also probably killing some of your low HP members.
Yeah, and for a potential future boss fight, we see Chromie didn't take the sands. He took the temporal loop instead.
We do have the loop, we do have the dust as well, which will be very useful in those fights. Also joining us, we do have the isolation, the avatar, and the light bomb. Nothing too necessarily special in my personal opinion.
Yeah, for sure, very standard ults on both sides.
But on the other hand, I think I actually quite like the Valkyrie here. It's not a thing that I see quite often, but if you manage to hit it just right, that will be a pick out of nowhere. A very nice counter play to the potential loop.
So we have a potentially big fight on the bottom lane. Shockwave has already been used on the Haka.
And the Hogger is pinned. Hogger gets stunned by the light bombs. That's going to be a kill, but traded. No, not traded actually. The Brightwing dies immediately at the same time. Terriport not feeling too great as RTM flood the objective stasis. Gonna be the next Entry stats just blinks out at the nick of time to take themselves 3 kills for Remember.
That escalated quickly, actually. We tried to engage on Tihaka as the red team, but yeah, the light bomb and the follow-up from Chromie actually buried our hopes of winning this team fight. So the blue team actually claims the bottom objective, which eventually kills the bottom fort and gives them a bit of an advantage, I would say, in terms of macro.
Oh yeah, nows are definitely a bit ahead. Let's see what they will do with it, because, well, you can just wait around and eventually the bot lane will push in on itself, but the report actually gonna become the bruiser camp in the meantime, knowing that they can't contest the bot lane. Puts their pressure somewhere, putting their forces in a little bit of a different place, allowing them to set up a push in the top lane while defending the bot lane and maybe actually going for the boss, who knows.
Yeah, that would be a good time right now for the red team to take the boss, but obviously it's too late at this point. Because the blue team actually has level 13, so they can potentially even invade the red team's camp.
Not to mention that they also have the Chromie who will just get those stones earlier, which means that if the talent levels are... Which means that if the XP levels are equal, the talent levels might actually very well be in favor of RT. And Agresa gonna try something on top of the Hogger. We do have Galvin jumping over the wall, but
The Stormbolt
Hogger
misses.
and Terry-bot are gonna have to find a way to capitalize somehow on those 2 half-health forts in the mid lane and the top lane, but so far just not finding it. While Remembers the Name are gonna start going for the boss. Gust is up, we do have the loop and the light bomb, all of the big AoE things to...
A bit of a risky play, I would say, but let's see what happens. The red team sniffs it out, so they come as 5 here.
Dihaka
5v5 incoming.
potentially efficient for a flank,
Yeah, but the boss
it's
was leashed and the teams just retreat.
a pretty nice play by Remembers the Name. I think you don't have to risk it, because if you risk it, you just lose a lot, considering that the temples have just been spawned as well. One in the mid lane, one in the bot lane. Hogger is gonna get on to the one in the mid, while the teams are just standing around anxiously waiting for something to happen in the bot lane. Agresa gonna take that orb, but doesn't matter too much with an ending right nearby.
Yeah, you can see both teams are playing really safe, like probably the nervousness of the grand final. Even though we have a huge engage onto the Johanna.
And there's a loop.
loop.
There's a kill, and well, Remembers the Name knows that they are 5v4 because Hogger is stuck in the mid lane, getting that objective done, securing the forts in the top lane and the mid lane, but RTM recognize it, go in 5v4 and pick up 2 kills for themselves, which
It's
allows...
probably boss time right now, right?
Should be 5v3. I don't think there is... Well, there is definitely a way for the report to get it, but it would involve a lot of things that would probably not happen. So
Yeah, like 2 people from the blue team disconnecting or something like that.
well, I wasn't thinking that radical, but sure.
Actually, people say that Muradin bot is OP, like it hits every Stormbolt.
That does sound pretty scary.
Yeah.
Anyway, what the Meridian will do is pick up the objective in the bot lane and add some insult to the injury by scratching down the structures on the red side, getting that mid port for themselves, equalizing the big structure situation on the map.
Yeah, so even though the blue team has won a team fight, the Hogger sitting on the mid objective actually allowed the red team to kill both the structures that were low, the mid and top fort.
Like, the big issue so far for me seems to be that Terrible are down 0 to 5 in kills, and they have been struggling a little bit to find those picks that they might actually need in the late game, even if it is one of the biggest macro maps in the Heroes launch map pool. I think you still need to win fights to get over the line, so I guess we'll see how that will favor them. Stasis
Yeah.
gonna get
We
looked
have
at.
another team fight.
A stun on the Cassia, but the root misses. Anduin just a little bit off here. Stasis still alive, but there's the Dihaka kick. Sorry, the leak hits and the gust into the wall, making sure that they can't really disengage. Torul is going to fall down. And Johanna is gonna move back to make sure that Liming has less people pressuring her, but it's still Liming. It still gets blown up, and that's just another one of
Yeah,
those 5v4 moments.
Giga Chat Chromie in like shooting Qs in melee range into Johanna. But of course, I mean, the Haka is just broken, right? So, like all this time they were fighting 5 versus 4 because Harder couldn't join if he was on the other side of the map. Well, the Haka just simply burned.
Well, I wouldn't say broken, and you probably should not say broken as well, because our host guy is gonna go bunkers and kill the stream. But
Okay.
Team's core is
Hogger
under
definitely
attack.
does have a rougher time joining those teamfights, and I feel like they have been getting some value out of the macro potential of the Hogger being around, but they definitely have not been able to just disengage 5v4, those 4v5 fights for territory.
Now it's the big opportunity though for the red team. If they want to fight, they better do it now before the blue team gets level 20.
We already have Blessing of the Bronze on the Chromie to get some more movement speed, to get some more ability cooldown, so a nice little boost, especially trying to catch out those retreating members of Terryport. I'm actually surprised that Brightwing is not using the global as much as I would have expected, considering that it's also an ability that has global range, finally setting down in the bot lane and just being there to pick up strength speed while
Okay, the last opportunity to fight on equal talents for the red team.
They definitely do seem to be going in. However, the Haka is getting a lot of shots shot in the top side. That's a bunch of pressure down to the top keep wall and eventually to the top keep itself. Actually, RTN are very just eager to retreat because they know that the 20 is gonna be quicker for them, and it's not like they lose the objective, it's just an even trade.
Well, now that 20s are in, we fight.
Well, there's going to be a Valkyrie on the Dihaka. Is it enough? No, Dihaka gets to burrow out. There's a shield clicked by the Johanna. The canister gets to walk out, but all in all, no kills done. The 5 shots will be secured by Terry Port. At the same time, Dihaka is gonna move up to pick up the 5 shots for RTN, and yeah. When Terry Port are trying to fight, it's just a nothing burger, but when RTN finds those fights, oh boy, it's nasty.
Well, this time at least nobody on the red side died. I think it's a good outcome considering all factors. The boss is gonna be up in 27 seconds, so that's something that the blue team might look into. While they'll still have talent advantage. We'll see if it persists until the boss is actually up.
Going to be in steal of the siege camp. Another siege camp is gonna join right now. The boss is up in 5 seconds. I'm not necessarily sure what Terry Port can actually do against it. I mean, against the Haka Falstad and Anduin as well, that's just a lot of point control that I'm not sure
Yeah,
that...
I think if the red team goes on the boss and loses the fight, I mean, it's the game, right? So, but Johanna is
They will scout.
about it. Okay, now we have level 20.
The Valkyrie misses, there's a light bomb connects on to the shockwave, gets a few hits in, but the loop is actually gonna get dodged. Zephlop losing a lot of HP there, losing his life going to this first blood for the fight. Torul trying to get out, getting the blink on Osias, the invisible friends doing quite a bit, but not enough. Brightwing is dead, and so is Johanna. Stasis will be able to walk away from the rest of the team, but Falstad dashes in. Does he have the range? Does so. Indeed. The stun connects, and that's a 4th kill. Tristesse, the only one alive. Zlin trying in vain to stop the 5 people and the boss from assaulting the core, but there it goes. 5%, 0%. Game 1 goes over to Remember the Name.
Yeah, I think it was a very, very risky, like unnecessarily risky move to fight on the boss. mean, if you go there, I mean, you should be like do it more confidently, right? But the red team seemed pretty reluctant.
Yeah, it was a very, very hard spot for the Resporter there in this very last minute. Like, either they go for the boss fight there, get the level 20 tiers down, and maybe get a win the fight there, or they don't go for the boss and the opponents are pushing with the boss to the open core, which is also a very, very hard time. With Kasiming, they have pretty decent poke, but it's still very hard to clear the boss while fighting 5 opponents on the other side at the same time. But very, very well played by Remember the Name, really putting the Resporter into a very rough position to force them for those advantageous moments in favor for Remember the Name. Well done in game number 1 from them here.
Yeah, very clean performance. 13 kills versus 0. Basically, every team fight was won by the blue team pretty confidently, I would say.
And they kind of have the Haka, you know, that's the thing. Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Sure, whatever. Host guy. So, Terry Port now get the choice between the first pick and the map pick. I like asking that question, so I'm gonna do it again. Jim, what would you do?
I don't know. I mean, unless they have something prepared in terms of like they've practiced a map, some wicked strategy, or I don't know, I think you just go first pick.
And it seems like you've chosen incorrectly because the map has been taken. It's going to be Battlefield of Eternity for map number 2.
Let's actually look at the map stats for those teams.
This is a turn to nice map for Li Ming, so let's see if Resporter pulls her out again.
Yeah, it's actually their most picked map alongside the Infernal Shrines, the Battlefield of Eternity.
Interesting map. Let's see. Josh, how do you feel about Infernal Shrines?
Good thing we're not playing that one just yet. Battlefield of Eternity is going to be our map. Actually, one of the simpler ones in terms of there's not too much to look at and not too much to fight over, but there's definitely a lot of potential to do some shenanigans. And I got that map for it.
I'm a little bit worried though, because this map is one of the most like team fight heavy maps, just because of you only have 2 lanes and like there isn't much to do macro wise. And we've seen how the blue team dominated every team fight, so it might be pretty rough for the red side, for the red team. But maybe they have again some aces up their sleeve, some, I don't know, pre-practiced comps specifically for this map. We'll see.
I feel like the thing with this last game on Sky Temple was especially that, Remember the Name, they had the double global on their side, so it wasn't always like they just straight out won team fights. They had the rotations on the map with the global, so they could force a lot of 5v4 team fights. And I think at the first time they were like level 20 against level 18 at the top vision point. There is porte, even though they were level 20 talent tiers down, they were 5 for one of the first times together. And they really pressured Remember the Name so hard that Remember the Name had to use the wind tunnel to disengage to make sure no one dies on their side. So it's gonna be interesting to see here when Resporter is actually more able to fight as a 5-on-5 compared to the last game where they had Hogga on the offlane doing offlane stuff, mirroring the Haka, and then the Haka just being able to burrow in, trying to mirror the Falstad when he just flew in. So there was a lot of tools in the hands of Remember the Name to really give them those advantageous team fights.
A really good point, actually. We did see Remember the Name win team fights with equal numbers, but that was after they've gotten an advantage through macros, through those Dihaka burrows. And yeah, Terry Port just not quite able to bring up enough value in the macro by the Hogger to make it count. So going for a little bit of a smaller map, a little bit more of a teamfight oriented map from the start might actually be a good idea. We can only look at the draft, look at the game, and see for ourselves. These teams seem to be ready enough right now. So
yeah, it's the only 2-lane map in the pool, actually. Guys, vote for Braxis. Let's get Braxis back.
what do you mean, Xeon? 2-lane maps? There's also Towers of Doom, where there's the foreman lane and the offlane lane.
Okay.
Battlefield
There's also Haunted Mines. Let's go. Haunted Mines next season instead of Shrines. Well, I mean, now he's gonna be drafting because the draft is actually gonna start. And there it is. I
Maybe
mean,
we should.
I think if you fly as the hacker, you've done something wrong already. However, we do have a Samuro ban and a Vala ban as well. So Vala,
Yeah, I predict my F. Look, boom,
you're cheating.
caster diff. Yeah.
You're watching this without any delay. Come on, Jim. Come on.
It's a Junkrat. Junkrat ban. Look, Junkrat ban. Oh no. Okay. Okay. Never mind.
Probably some heroes. Jokes aside, I mean, we do have Malfurion actually the most picked hero for RTN, but Azok is a sub, so probably not that. But Junkrat has been open, and
Yeah.
I guess that does mean that he must be picked.
Yeah. Liming is another possibility. Like Tristesse played Liming last game, and it's pretty good on this map.
The crusade calls.
Okay.
Indeed, we do have the Johanna. Samu, what have you done to me? And the Brightwing picked up, so not willing to jump away from their last draft just yet, and they have picked both damage healers in the second phase of the draft, so it's not too surprising for me that they are prioritizing the tank and the healer so far.
Victory for the Forsaken.
Nourish and Sylvanas, so far, which brings it to a very interesting spot. Is remember the name? They have Junkrat Sylvanas, which are both not the best race heroes, but if they manage to win an objective, they do have the Sylvanas to push it with it. So very
Yeah,
interesting to
but
see how they will
potentially-
play around this objective.
So they have Junkrat, Garrosh, and Sylvanas. All of those characters have been banned out by Teleport in game 1.
Mhm.
So just straight up, you're not gonna ban us? Well...
Yeah, and potentially like the blue draft is very, very strong at defending at their immortal. Like they have Garrosh and Junkrat for displacement and root, and potentially even mind control on Sylvanas. So it's gonna be very hard to engage into their immortal if they prefer to
Pro
defend.
into trap into mind control. Bam. Imagine having a cleanse against it. Oh wait, there's Brightwing. She actually has some sort of cleanse.
A little
Let's
bit
see.
of.
Yeah,
A little bit of cleanse as a treat. That said,
kind of.
Garrosh ends up being a very big skill check in lower divisions, and I would make a case that Division 5 is not too far from the bottom, so I'm actually quite interested to see if Terriport will be able to play around it. Liming is definitely a decent way to go around it. Raynor is not a character that we see often at all, Jim, so what are your opinions about that one?
Yeah, well, it's incredible at the race with Exterminator. So indeed, maybe they have to like pedal the race aspect of this map, the red team that is, since the blue team seems to be kind of ignoring this. So they're like drafting more for team fights.
Yeah, also Rain is a nice pick against Garrosh, because whenever Garrosh tries to step up and throw someone, you can just queue him away again.
Oh, Imperious offlane, interesting.
Which again brings no race to the team.
Yeah, but incredible in team fights.
I-
However, it's gonna be really hard to engage into Raynor Q, Brightwing Poly, then after 10 Repulsion, the Wave of Force, I mean, by Liming.
The Malthael, oh boy.
It's gonna be very interesting. Like, I do like the draft of Remember the Name if you put it on any other map, but for this map, it is getting really rough because whenever you get kills, you don't have the damage in your team to capitalize too much on it and grab the Immortal.
Yeah, I feel like before level 7, also one problem for the blue team is the Malthael would have a constant lane priority because Imperius doesn't have any wave clear basically until he gets talent on 7. So it's another thing to consider.
Honestly, for me, it just seems like a check of can Terry-Port play against the Garrosh? Because if they can't, there's just so much stuff to deal with. There's all the mines, all the traps from the Junkrat, there's the Garrosh himself, there's the Imperius with his infamous Q. And with a Bloodlust on top, which probably is not the thing that's gonna end up being chosen, but a thing that might potentially be in play, it's just a lot. So let's see how Terry-Port will deal with it.
So on the blue side, we have Remember the Name currently leading 1-0 in this best of 5, with Burners playing Imperius, Azok on Junkrat, Ogrisa playing Sylvanas, Shrimp on Rhaegar, and Galvan playing main tank Garrosh.
While on the other hand, for Terry-Port, who are trying to equalize the series and get it down to a best of 3, we have Tarul playing as the Rainer, Tristesse on the Liming, Stasis on the Malphels. On the Malphel, Eposius playing up the Johanna, and Zefclop picking up the Brightwing yet again.
I was looking for a target.
Yeah, the red team has 3 heroes from the previous draft, while the blue team has none, I think.
The blue team has 3 heroes banned in the previous draft
Yeah.
by their opponents as well. So not a lot of action so far, just picking up some speed, picking up the farm.
Yeah,
Galvan
Malthael actually bullying Imperius really hard.
I mean,
in the
that's
top lane.
expected. We have been talking
Exactly.
about it. The Malphel just has the split pull, the pushing capabilities that Imperius does not have. The biggest pushing asset for Imperius here is literally the wall. And after level 4, it's just gonna be even nastier as Q damage down comes into play instead of his option chosen. Meanwhile, in the bottom, just a whole lot of trading, a whole lot of putting damage into each other. Rhaegar
Yeah.
seems to be doing a better job of healing it out, but Brightwing does have that little bit of burst if necessary.
Speaking about the talents, Ming has went for the globe talent on level 1, which is not something you see often on this map. You usually see the teleport talent. Because when you team fight in the jungle around the Immortals, there's obviously no globes to be found there.
And in the meantime, Malthael is putting his macro advantage in good use, picking up the camp for himself. There has been no one rotating upwards, and now Sylvanas is actually forced to do that because Imperius can't do shit with this camp.
Yeah, so the red team should now realize that Sylvanas is top, so they are free to
And
take the
there's a
bottom
Bright
camp.
to help, just in the nick of time. A second later, and that Malthael is dead. Very nicely done by Flop.
Okay. So the red team seems to be wanting to start the bruiser camp already, a little bit earlier than usual, I'd say, but it's kind of fine.
If you just delay it and don't pick it
Yeah.
up, it doesn't matter too much. I'm having a bit of an issue with Malthael actually now that I think about it. His lane is obviously very strong. He's able to just outpush the Imperius and pick up the camp and just be relentless with the pressure. But as far as the teamfighting goes, he can't really get in. There's the traps, there's all the Junkrat stuff, there's also the Garrosh who's able to throw him out.
Yeah, and remember the slow from the totems.
Yeah, there's just not a good angle for Stasis to go in, and the offlane difference is very much mitigated by just sending Sylvanas there instead of the Imperius, for example.
Well, so far the blue team says offlane is bot, actually. Let's have 4 people in the top lane.
Well, it's called an offlane and not a solo lane for a reason, right? Even though my fellow offlaner might disagree, Malthael will actually die in the end, and both teams are now gonna start racing. However, Terry-Port have started quite a while ago, but they will almost trade the Johanna for it. Very nice clutch kill from the Rainer to save the situation.
So the red team is almost certainly winning this race. Because the blue team prefers to just shove off a little bit of HP from the Immortal rather than defending theirs.
I mean, almost certainly, but look at the pace with which they are taking it down. Because that halftime show has been triggered without any damage on the Immortal almost at all. And the shields, there's only like a quarter of it, so
Yeah,
they've
that's
actually
true.
done quite a nice job of getting that shield down, and they might even save the wall here. But probably not. Probably not. We'll see, however.
It's 4v4 in the bot lane, Imperius going top to catch the wave, while Malphite is free to rotate to help his team. So potentially 5v4 in just a few seconds here.
Ooh, a throw over the wall, that's a Garrosh classic. Osseous is gonna lose a lot of health, but nothing Brighton can't heal. Zephlop, however, gonna get mined in the rest of, inside the rest of the team, but just gets out. A little bit of movement speed with an E always helps with those things. There's a defense. Imperius getting some damage done to the wall, actually, using the fact that the Malthael is not here, but now they push back.
Leading fight in the bot lane. Or maybe not so big. A medium team fight.
Galvan is already on 10 stacks of his level 1 talent, so just 5 more to go. People are starting to eye up that bottom camp, so with Malphite picking up the top camp. Remember the name are definitely getting some pressure down there, and I don't think that our Terry Porte actually engaged. There's a garage, there's a traps, and all of the other stuff that I have been mentioning for on repeat since minute 1. Just not a lot of angles for Terry Porte to actually engage.
Sylvanas rotates top to potentially gank Malthael, who's a little bit overextended. Now it's 2 versus 1. Malthael is slowed by Imperius, gets a lot of damage and dies to Sylvanas' poison.
Unfortunately. In the meantime, we do have 4v3 in the bot lane. There's a trap on the Rainer, but Galvan cannot find a way in. A little bit sad for him, but it's still a 2-0, and I think that the reporter still kill us in the series.
If it was League of Legends, Malthael would probably write something like jungle diff FF, because like he just gets ganked by the blue team all the time, while the red team doesn't seem to care. There was only one Brightwing TP on him in the early game.
Thankfully, it is Heroes of the Storm, it is competitive play, and if you would be typing that in the team chat, considering that they are in the same voice chat, that would be at least extremely weird. That said, a very nice little pick on the Brightwing, just getting the throw in the Q on top, and the damage from RTN is enough to pick up that kill, which in turn allows them to just go for the race, get that very nice and easy up and go.
Yeah, there's a significant, at least at this point in the game, XP difference for the blue team, bringing them ever closer to level 10s, which are gonna hit right now, in fact, due to all these extra hero kills that they've got.
But don't seem to be trying to fight, they just are content with picking up that water.
We do see a rocket ride for Junkrat.
Ooh boy, let's go.
Oh yeah, and Decimate for Garrosh, so maybe they are trying to like slow the red team and rocket ride into them. I don't know. What's the idea here?
Things that I see more often than I think I should, but maybe there is some value in picking that one up. We do have the wall getting
Zoning Hyperion has been used, which nobody really cares about, as it seems.
It's at least a little bit of stray damage on the Immortal and on the team. Can't keep angry with it, to be honest. Especially considering that you're not gonna get
The
it.
Blessed Shield is out.
And there's
Big
a kill.
attack.
Just
The Ancestral,
There's
yeah.
Ancestral kill. Procs. Very nicely done. Tristesse picks up that one. Tries to go in deeper, but the enemy team is just out. And, well, they do manage to save the fort. They do manage to kill that Sylvanas. And off of that, they do get to pick up the siege camp. That's actually the first...
4 versus 3 in the bot lane.
That's actually the first Whale and Arrow Sylvanas that I've seen the entire weekend. I think so far it's all been mind controlled up and down to division ladder. Meanwhile, Mel, picking up the third solo camp for himself, putting up that push advantage to good use, and well,
This is where Hyperion would have really helped in the sieging of this bottom fort. With these Yamato shots.
Ooh, Galvan trying to go for Torul, but there's a W from the Johanna, a nice little veiling arrow on everyone. Just stopping the heals there. Flop trying to use his Z to heal people up, but there's
Let's
a mine.
shield out.
There's an ancestral and the rocket ride is out. The Johanna is gonna lose a lot of HP and die to total mayhem. We do have Maltail joining up right next to the fight, proccing his
It's
ult
no last strikes, by the way.
trying
It's
to
coming
get
to
out,
souls.
and no, it will not succeed. Agrisa trying to put some damage into Zephyr, but now Stasis is going to be on the edge, and well, fussy edge now that the kill has been completed.
2 for 2 in the grand scheme of things, so probably beneficial for the red team, I would say, since they were behind in XP and kills. They probably got a bit more from that. Now that both teams are racing, both damage dealers are alive on both sides.
That is a very equal race, but in the end, it does seem like the red team has won it so far. Let's see how it will end up. No, Raynor is going to heal. That will throw them off by a couple hundred HP, which might be all the difference that they need. However,
The blue team is on the camp, and the red team seems to realize that.
out of the home position, which does mean that there's not a lot of racing to start. And now that...
Johanna is in big trouble.
Well, we do have a big fight. Let's see. Stasis is gonna get thrown in. Pops Tormented Souls just to stay alive while the Brighton heal comes through. Because they are fighting on the Immortal of the Remember the Name, they will get that very nice Immortal Force themselves. But the Johanna is gonna get rocket righted yet again. That's the second kill by the Junkrat using his...
Exactly, and both are on Johanna. Feels kind of sad for Johanna.
A little bit annoying to try and trade your way over the rocket ride because there's just such a big delay between the ability starting and the damage.
Yeah, but it's in the end, it's the second immortal for the red team.
Yes, indeed. They are starting to put some damage into the fort. Thankfully, the wall has been damaged, and damaged quite a bit by all those relentless camps taken by Malthael. But the report not actually gonna try to fight for it at all, instead just opting to rotate downwards and maybe see what they can do on the bottom fort. And we do have a drag race to ourselves, because Remember the Name are actually just gonna go top with the Sylvanas trade. That's gonna be a lot of damage into the fort.
Yeah, they basically 100 to 0 it. So the blue fort was already damaged, but this one was very healthy. The top red fort.
Quite a nice trade as is, but I feel like they can't really keep that going. I think that once the Sylvanas trade runs out, they don't do enough damage to compensate for whatever hell Ripoff have going in the bot lane. There's an Imperius. Imperius is gonna miss his Q, but there's going to be a throw over the wall. Malthael is gonna get blown up in a second. Zeph Club, who's no off HP, but getting the blink out, getting safe and sound.
Yeah, he had like a split second to W through the gate. I think you can do that if you're like very precise, but he was probably not expecting to be thrown in the first place.
Well, and now they're going to do the things that you never do in Division 7. They're going to try to invade the enemy's Bruiser camp. That's a lot of damage put into Johanna. Johanna gonna use the trait and try to get out through Rule, putting a little bit of straight damage, but the job is done, and once the job is done, they will just leave the scene. The Bruiser camp is stolen, and that's a lot of pressure in the top side, allowing them to pick up the bottom fort.
Yeah, and a level 16 with it. So it seems like the red team has given up on the fort, even though Raynor and Ming are rotating there, but the rest of the team just stays for the race.
They can go for the fort, or they can go for the Immortal and pick up the big objectives that allows them to pick up something more than a fort. So,
Yes, but for now.
Also,
yeah.
there's a wave pushing, which is annoying for the enemy team. There's going to be a polymorph on Galvan, so Report still trying to fight for it, still trying to defend it. Fossil's gonna be forced to use the trade. And the Divine Shield the Blast Shield as well. There's going to be a Rocket Ride. Right on top of the Malthael. Malthael actually gonna die to total mayhem. That's 3 for 3 on the Junkrat ult. Burner's trying to blink. To Q in, but he's gonna miss. However, the Johanna is gonna wind up dead in the end. RTN just keep on winning those fights.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened was kind of what I talked about in the draft. So the red team chose to fight under the blue Immortal, which was, I think, a big mistake. Because with all the displacement tools and like all the lockdown tools on the blue side, it's very hard for the reds to fight in this situation.
Fascinating how close the race ends up being, even with big team fight loss. Only 4,000 health shield on the Immortal at this stage of the game. However, they will still get the fort, they will still get the wall, I think, and maybe even the keep. So let's see how this defense goes for Terry Park.
Yeah, the first Immortal in this, on this map has been taken by the blue team after 2 being claimed by the reds. We'll see how much value they get out of it. So the fort was pretty much dead anyway, so now we're on to the keep.
Now's where the real pressure happens, and with Sylvanas having that trade, it's gonna be just that little bit easier. Always matters. So the Immortal is dead. The fort is receiving negligible damage, but it is what it is, negligible. And RememberTheName just gonna get out without trying to fight, without trying to secure anything. They are ahead, they don't need to risk anymore.
Yeah, the red team could have turned, like Johanna was in blast shield range of Garrosh, could have maybe preferred to do that, but...
Ooh, Burner's actually...
And another big team fight. With another...
But Rocket
Oh
Ride,
yeah, 4 out of 4.
and also a lot of damage on Zapclub, a lot of damage on True Rules. Those backliners are not able to really fight for much longer. Apostia is going to fall down surely, but not before the Imperius. So very important, at least getting something here. There's going to be the cleanse out of the Brightwing, trying to use a Z to heal
And with
up.
Sylvanas trade, it's probably a dead keep now.
And they could potentially even fish for a core, but I doubt that. Garrosh finds a Q on Zapclub, interrupting that back, forcing Brightwing to go back and heal up mana as a usual way. And this is a big wave, this is also a camp.
This looks scary.
Are they capable to finish this game?
They have Sylvanas damage.
They do, and
But,
Enchanter.
Yeah, this looks very bad for the red.
30% health on the core, they have to start killing people now, otherwise the game is just over, and yes it is. 2-0, and RememberTheName are gonna keep on pushing through.
Indeed, they are. Game number 2 also going in the hands of RememberTheName in a very, very strong fashion. They actually raised on the Immortal way faster than I expected them to. I guess being 5 people hitting the Immortal actually helps a lot, and not being 11, because, you know, tank and support do no damage, kick weight. You can
Yeah,
actually do. If they all hit it together, it's pretty fast.
The chat actually notes that Last Rites would have probably been the better pick for Malthael, especially because you have Liming, right? So you can get to first reset faster through this. But yeah, we got Tormented Souls instead of that.
Oh well. It's not over yet. It is a best of 5, not a best of 3. So their report have one last chance to try and fight back. And if my usual prediction of 3-1 is correct, they will get it for at least one more map.
How was it in Div 5? Was it the same? 3-1s everywhere?
They actually have had 2 games that ended up at 3-0, but one of them has been by Terry Port, actually, so not a good look for them. RememberTheName still, what a story. Being 9th in the regular season, so getting through on either the head-to-head or potentially the just someone else dropping out and going through the cup on a rampage, getting 2 kills
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, like technically they shouldn't be in the playoffs in the first place.
So far,
Yeah.
just kind of annihilating the #1 seed.
Yeah,
8
that's
wins,
very
17 map
interesting.
wins throughout the season. To look up the matches.
I'm looking at the Div 5 table, and it looks very strange. There are two teams with only 9 matches played. There's one team with 8.
Things happen.
I
Things
don't
always
know what
happen.
happened there, yeah.
Oh, and they haven't actually played each other in the regular season, so that's fascinating as well. So that is the first time the teams are squaring up against each other. Wait, no, they faced off in season 18 in Division 5, where Remember the Name have won 2-1. So that's definitely something to note. That's it. We do have map number 3 to get through, and this time around, Terry Port are actually just gonna go for the first pick.
Yeah, so we're gonna see Remember the Name with the map choice for potentially the last time today in this series. As we do have open Cursed Hollow, Garden of Terror, Nipona Shrines, and Volskaya Foundry. And we do see Remember the Name
Their top
choosing
picked map is Tomb.
to go
I'm not
for
sure if it
Cursed
was
Hollow.
banned. Okay.
Doom is not going to be the one. Instead, they will pick a large map, which kind of
Yes,
makes
Tomb was
sense.
banned.
Tomb was banned, yeah. That's right.
Considering their game plan so far has been involving those big macro decisions in game #1, and I think they might just be better on those big maps with those globals in hand. Cursed Hollow, a very nice place to secure your victory.
It can go anywhere from 8 minutes to 28 minutes, if you like.
Well, it can't be more of a spread than Volskaya Foundry, honestly.
I don't think I've ever seen 8-minute Volskaya game.
Yes, but I have seen a 40-minute Volskaya game, and I have seen a 12-minute Volskaya game, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I guess Volskaya is even worse for this.
It feels like the red team needs to kind of choose a different approach, let's say, either to team fights or to strategy in general. So perhaps in this case, the map allows basically to avoid team fights for a very long time. So maybe that's what they will choose.
Well, I don't think we will bother for much longer because the teams are in the lobby. The teams should be ready any moment now, and we will go into our latest draft for right now. Maybe even the last. We'll see.
Indeed, if it will be the last one, then it's actually gonna be a long break for Division until Division 4 finals. But let's see.
Oh, and while we are at it, what is happening with those Division 4 finals?
We're gonna see MK Robotics going up against Oni Chance, so will be quite an interesting matchup. Two teams with which has been around for quite some time, and the second place going up against the fourth from Division 4, the first place not making it here today. But let's jump into this draft before we can keep on talking about Division 4.
Imagine Division 4. Well, red team is going to get the first ban because they do have the first pick because they have chosen it. And well, I know the bans from the blue team, but what will the bans be from the red one?
Maybe we ban Sylvanas again. Okay.
Going for the Dehaka instead, just securing those globals away from the hands of Remember the Name while Samuro, naturally.
Yeah, they didn't even like hover to discuss the game plan. We just banned Samurai immediately.
Once you were correct. So Maiev is now
Maiev,
gonna
yeah.
land on the left.
Okay.
Weird. On one hand, I like it when teams adapt to the drafts in hand and how the games are going, but on the other hand, if you have a very solid game plan against an opponent and you know it's working, there's no need to change it. So, a very nice call by Remember the Name, just not switching up those bands at all.
Yeah, you don't fix something that works.
Let's fight for the alliance above all.
And they go for the same heroes as in map 1.
Well, you don't have to fix what's not broken.
Yeah, except we don't have the Haka this time, but it's fine.
Who cares about the Haka? That hero did not matter at all in their victory in map number 1. Definitely did not.
For the next
Oh,
And-
but the red team gets their hands on Orphea this time.
True, and they will
Orfeo.
pair it up with Diablo, which is a very nice combo with Brightwing together. The
Yes,
teleport on Diablo keeps him alive for quite a long time because it heals for max percentage health, so big health bars get more healing, and Diablo is one of those.
Teleport actually not going for the Johanna now. First game of the series that they're doing it, and well, to be fair, you are against the wall, so might as well just pull off the weird stuff that you have been thinking about but haven't had the courage, because where else? When else? You're up against the wall, you have to
Yeah.
win those 3 games in a row, so
If you're up against the wall, you pick Diablo, flip the opponent to the wall, and stun them with Q, right?
exactly. And the Johanna is gonna get bent up.
He's a Junkrat.
Could be. Probably would be. They actually doesn't matter too much once they pick their offlaner, so probably
Here we
last
go
pick
again.
again.
Ready for
Yes,
action.
indeed. Chromium Meridian is going to be our picks for now.
Yeah. This time 100% Warcraft draft. For now.
Well, they haven't picked their offlaner, and last time around it was the offlaners. That's
I
different,
stand
right?
ready.
Blaze and Avala.
A lot of damage on the red team.
As well as
Also-
CC, looking at it, we do have
Yes.
Vala potentially opting into Reign of Vengeance, but still Blaze stun. Diablo with QE and potential Apocalypse.
And
Well-
also heroes that are a little bit more normal, I guess, because you don't see those Cassius as often as Valas. But Orphe is a little bit weird. I'm going to accept that Orphe is just our comfort pick here. Imperius once again being the last pick. Imperius still gonna suffer against Blaze in the offlane, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Orphea is literally their top pick 14 times this
Wait.
season.
Clear wise, yes. Imperius not having a lot of wave clear suffers makes him suffer a lot. But I'll never remember the name. We do have Falster instead who can just take over the sideline. Instead of the Imperius can be more with the team. And Falster
it
can
is-
actually use his global to be on the other side.
It is Cursed Hollows. There are 2 offlanes.
Kind of, yes.
Arguably 3 offlanes.
Well, that's if you try too hard. Okay, the
Alright,
predictions
what
are-
draft do you think is better, Josh? Which one do you prefer?
Predictions are open, and I'm gonna vote for Teleport yet again, lose another 50 points. Which I do not care about.
Alright, let's see as
But-
you take it away into this third and potentially final game between Remember the Name and Risk Porte.
Yes, we have on the red side the report currently losing 2-0 in this best of 5 with Tarul playing Vala, Zefklop on Brightwing, Eposias on Diablo, Stasis on Blaze, and Tristesse on their top pick, which is Orphea.
And on the other side, Remember the Name are trying to finish their miracle run from 9th place in the regular season, all the way to winning the cup, with Shrimp playing as the Anduin, Galvan on the Merlin, Burners playing the Imperius, Ogrissa on the Falset, and Azok reprising his role as a Chromie.
We have Spell Shield on Diablo, so most likely W build. And percentage damage on Imperius. Probably against Diablo again.
It's a Diablo against the Blaze as well. If you can't really push your opponent out of the lane, might as well just try to damage them out of the lane instead. I'm not sure how successful that will be, but it's at least something that you can try. And also the Q build on Zavala, so looking for the single target damage.
Neural stim pack on Blaze though. Not something you see all that often.
I'm gonna guess just to make clearing more even easier. Just
Yeah, but for clearing you go Adrenaline stim pack. Auto speed.
oh well. Easily. The camps are right now up. We do not see either side really fishing for them just yet, but Tarul is going to roam to that siege camp. The Q-Walla has been regarded as a build to kill bosses with, so
Yeah,
I'm
indeed.
guessing
You can
that's
pick
going to be a game plan for Terry Ford this game.
you can pick Monster Hunter on level 7 and play like a quasi BOE play style with boss instead of immortal.
Well, considering there are 2 bosses on the map, might be pretty good because there's only 1 immortal to damage on battlefield. Azak finishing the siege camp slightly later than his opponents, who are already on the bruiser. But we do have Remembers them having presence in all 3 lanes, while Terry and Fort are actually gonna forsake the mid lane for now.
They're losing a bit of XP there, but not too much.
Well, let's see if they will actually. Yes, they will. Just a slight bit. It won't matter much. I don't think it will matter at all. And now we do have the camps finally hitting the actual lane. Tristesse already put.
Blaze is in big trouble top lane.
Ooh, yeah, that's a bunch of damage, but Brightwing is known for making sure that the offlane stays in offlane, not the solo lane. FaZe is here. Not a good position for him to put damage into the camp, but one of the giants is already dead, and now he's gonna be looking for the second one.
Fia, meanwhile, bullies Falstad in the bot lane.
Well, one of the towers is already gone, so Terry Fort are definitely doing something right here. And already having 3 people on the objective. So, good position for them on the map too.
Yeah, Falstad can always fly top.
Yes, but Diablo is already there. Orphe is gonna stay mid to clear the camp, but the rest of the team is just gonna try and find that objective. Zephop is gonna stop channeling because of the interrupt from Calvin. And there goes the pulse, but there goes the Brightwing heal on Impossius. Very nicely done. Yes, teams just keep putting damage into each other. Remember the name, very split right now. Shrimp and Galvan away from the rest of the team. But we do have the Blaze who's overstepped, eating a Q from the Imperius, bashing back in and dying. That's going to be the first blood and the second blood as Diablo falls down.
Yeah, I think he kind of realized that he's gonna die anyway, so he decided to at least stun the enemies. But he missed, unfortunately.
Well, now it's going to be a cakewalk for Remembers the Name to pick up that objective. I feel like the report just went a little bit too far there. They had the position. They could just try to go onto the Murdin and the Anduin who were stuck away from their team, but they chose the wrong side of the fight to focus on. And well, Stacy stepped a little bit too far, got blown up, after which the other tank got blown up, and just a set of unfortunate circumstances with the sums of the fight.
Yeah, maybe a bit of miscommunication in terms of like calling the target or something like that. Meanwhile, we have the ultimate available for Chromie already, and we have Temporal Loop again. No Monster Hunter on Vala, by the way. It's Hot Pursuit instead.
Ooh, I'm not sure if I like that. But an extra little bit of movement speed might help a bit with dodging the Imperius, with dodging the Murdin. Maybe? I don't know, I don't agree with it though. However, I'm in no position to agree or disagree because I'm just a caster, not even a good player. That said, we do have Terry Fort starting to rotate downwards, but that rotation is quickly gonna get stopped as they realize that there's an objective spawned in the mid lane. Brightwing not even gonna stay in the bot lane. She is a global, so she can just go and help after the fight starts. But for now,
Yeah, now's a good opportunity for the red team.
that's a nice little time trap. Galvan will get the interrupt on through, but the fight heats up. There's a false start, there's a heal from Zephlop. Peru, in the meantime, still trying to channel, will get the channel, but it will be at the cost of the Diablo. 1-1 in the objective. Stasis not looking too healthy right now, and there's going to be the Q from the false start. There's going to be a Q from the Murdin, and one auto attack will seal the deal. Another 2 kills going in favor of RTM as they keep on just getting kills.
Yeah, the level 10 connected for the blue team, so the Stormbolt actually pierced and hit the Blaze as well. Just in time for the blue team.
RTN, now that they have the level 10 advantage, they will go for the boss. Terryport will respond with a boss of their own, but because of no Monster Hunter, it's just gonna take a little bit of extra time. Which will be not in their favor, because the next objective spawns in the bot side, favoring RTN a lot here. The blue side will definitely be happy with that one.
Yeah, perhaps what the red team can do here is actually push top lane with the boss instead of like trying to go for the objective.
And turn it into a base race against the boss in the bot lane. I'm not sure if that's the right call either. Either way, it's not the call that Terryport will choose, because they will try to go in, they will not get the channel interrupted, so point goes over to the blue side. RTN now 1 tribute away from sending a curse upon their opponents.
Falstad is flying top to defend the boss, while the red team is gathering bot side.
And
What's
there's an
the purpose?
Apocalypse. They are going on the Chromie, but we do have the Faithful, however you want to call the thing, which I don't know how to call. Kosia's gonna get looped, gonna get stunned, and there's going to be a kill. Zephlop now in a bad position, but nothing of Blink here won't fix. Root on Tristesse, a little bit of the penalties.
Yeah, great play by Andu in there. Saved the Chromie from almost certain death.
That's very annoying for the side of Terryport. They finally got an engage that seemed good, but Zandun just has that little ability, allowing him to save someone every 80 or so seconds. Maybe even 50. However, they will get the curse, they will go in. Vala gets blown up before I even start raising my voice, and there's the engage on Tristesse. Tristesse trying to dash out, but there's a loop sealing their fate. Diablo not feeling too great, feeling quite stunned actually, and there's a Q from the Imperials, but there's not enough follow-up from the rest of the team, as Azok is perfectly content just picking up the camping style.
I'm actually surprised that Brightwing, like the fort is not shooting, like you're just in the field in the middle of the enemy 5 people. Like, very ballsy
4
plays.
seconds left on the curse. He will pick up 1/4 for it. Falstad moves up to get the second. Zephlop trying to interrupt, but I'm not certainly sure that's a fight that Brightwing can win. However, in the meantime, Burners gets yoinked over the wall. Nothing and then doing 1 health from Blaze. Uses the bunker. Here's the light bomb. Will connect on the Diablos. They might be able to get a kill there actually, but Brightwing says no for now. The wall gets blown up, and that seems to be the end of the curse. The stun is very nice. Orisa will get killed, but not before using the gust to disengage for the rest of the team.
Finally, the red team got their first kill in this map, which helped them to defend their mid keep. This was a very long team fight. Felt like it just goes on for eternity.
On the other hand, it is pretty favorable for the side that has the curse to have that long team fight in one place, not allowing the defending team to just rotate around and defend the side lanes. We have seen the fort in the top lane fall, we have seen the fort in the bot lane take a little bit of damage, even though the Blaze was there defending it for the first little bit. So...
I disconnected from the game.
well, I guess it is going to be a solo cast for now, Zan.
No, I'm back.
Both teams. Oh, well. Burners, he's gonna finish up picking up the easy camp in the top lane. That's gonna set off on a long journey, but that might just make it fly under the radar while the rest of the team is trying to fight. Tristesse gonna get gusted into the wall here, not allowing the Orchid to leave. Zephlop not being able to save the damage dealer here as the Posias uses Apocalypse for essentially nothing here. Everyone just jumps out and yet another fight ends up in a peak 4 in a Remember the Name. Posias not in a good spot here as Burner joins up as well. The Diablo gets blown up. They definitely can and probably will go for that port now. For sure, yes.
Yeah, it was a very unlucky team fight for the red team. Well, first of all, they had a numbers disadvantage. And secondly, like they were very close for both saving Orphea and killing Muradin, but Orphea missed her Q, so she couldn't dash out. And then Muradin lived on like 1 HP, just beyond the Apocalypse circle.
That's just the thing. You pick up a camp, the siege camp in the top side, that will half a minute later pull the blaze to the top lane because you have to defend it, otherwise it just kills your wall, kills your fort, kills your keep. And while that's happening, you just move down bot, pick up a kill on the tank, and afterwards pick up the boss because Terry Port just can't fight without that talent.
Yeah, and since Diablo died, he lost 75 of his souls, so he's gonna be much squishier right now. For the next team, that is.
Terry Port
And the next team fight might actually happen right here.
Trying to pick up a boss in response, but Posias is stuck away from his teammates, which does result in a very quick death. There are no souls here to bail him out now. Burner's trying to go in with an Uncurious Arsenal, but not enough. Here doesn't find the damage. Stasis now being stunned, however, does result in some more damage being pulled into Rule, not feeling too great and feeling actually quite dead. That is a second boss for RTN in a row, which probably does mean that they're gonna get those keeps open.
Yeah, that's true. Orphea is gonna take like a million years to defend this boss in the bot lane. And they also steal the Bruiser camp in mid. Like, what is good for the red team is that there is no curse on the map for the blues.
There will be a curse on the map in a minute 30. Or something like that.
Yes, but the red team hopefully will have everyone alive by then.
Yeah, by that point, I think RTN will get themselves a level 20, which is not a position you can fight into. If you can't fight into 16, you definitely cannot fight into 22, it's just that much more mouse fight. And well, with the walls encroaching in, Terry Port are very close to just losing the set outright.
I mean, even if you're a talent down, I feel like you have to fight. Like, right now is actually not a bad opportunity.
You definitely have to start fighting at some point, otherwise it just allows them to pick up the core for nothing.
Yeah, maybe we
there's
try.
the Apocalypse, they're trying to find something, but the engage does not connect enough
so close.
on Galvan, and Anduin will finish the save here. The light bomb connects with 3, there's a bunker, a lot of people entering and leaving. Is this enough? Doesn't seem to be so, as Q finds stasis. Tristesse losing a lot of HP, actually going to die to the false that Anduin picks up a kill on the Diablo, the bloodthirsty killer that he is. Blaze falls down next, and GG is called by stasis. A little bit too early, like 30 seconds too early, but still a GG nonetheless. Zephlop losing a lot of health here, forced to go back into the fountain. Peru forced to join. And with the shields gone, the core on 60%, 50%, I guess the deal is sealed.
Yeah, that is true.
We had a 3-1 and a 3-0 last time around, and this time around we are starting off with 3-0, as Remember the Name wins the division from 9th seed.
Yeah, I guess now you know the outcome of the next game, right?
Maybe, let's see, but GG's, Remember the Name. 3-0ing the risk Porte here. Jesus. I was like, being 9th spot, making it barely into playoffs, because it do be like that sometimes. You barely make a playoff, be like, yeah, we just 8th place, but they're not letting themselves get down from being the bottom of this year. So
Maybe
they're
it's,
starting out and go for it.
Maybe it's the sub diff, no? Yeah,
I mean,
the Azok.
it's also just not the fact that they won from the ninth seed, but also the manner in which they won. Those were not just games; those were like 3 stomps in a row, pretty much, over the teams that has had the first seed coming into the Division 5 finals. Remember the name, just oh boy, remember those guys, because next season they will raise hell in the upper divisions of the launch.
Yeah, congratulations to Remember the Name. A very confident performance. Like I feel like the score actually reflects how the games went rather well. So they've played it really confidently. It seemed like they know what they're doing at every stage. Like very good team coordination during team fights. And yeah, congratulations.
Oh, if I recall,
Also, they played Daka, so you know.
that doesn't
Yeah.
matter. If I recall correctly, we shall be up for a winners interview right about now.
Indeed, let's see.
Indeed, count as at 6 or 7, probably 7. Yeah, 7. Boy.
Hmm.
Well, that's
Oh.
5 people from Match Lounge A right in the interview room, so...
Indeed, so we're gonna immediately drag them in here. And yeah. Congratulations! Remember the name for this video
Thanks.
victory.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
So,
Well, that was decisive.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise for us, I think.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
They were so dominant all season in the group. And yeah, we did not expect this 3-0.
I'm more interested in the entire division as well. Like, starting from 9th seed, you were not even making it into playoffs already, but then someone else
Yeah.
unfortunately had to drop. And so how do you even start there, like, from knowing that you're not going to be playing playoffs towards just getting through? And
Well, I think speaking for my team, it was like if we don't make the playoffs, we just have more free time. So yeah, we just went in to have fun, and yeah, more games is more fun, I guess.
Yeah.
but why do you win 3-0 then?
It's better than 3-1 and 3-2, right?
But that's more games though.
Oh, that's true. Yes. I'm a little bit
Yeah.
disappointed.
On the other hand, winning is more fun than losing, so yeah. No, we just try to have fun.
Did you have fun today?
A lot of fun.
Oh,
Probably
yes.
not.
So,
I mean, I guess it was a bit unfortunate that our opponents had 2 subs. And we
yeah.
we rigged the whole game by subbing Azok.
Yeah.
Getting
Yeah,
in the manager.
I was a bit careful about trying to insult the Chromie. Which I was definitely not insulting the Chromie. Hello, Transparent.
Indeed, a short welcome, of course, as well to Transparent, as he's gonna be here in the name of the Board of Heroes Lounge for this Windows interview to join us and bring us a few beautiful words from their sides as well.
Yeah, so big congratulations, of course, to you guys. What a quick series! It must be an incredible feeling to sort of go so well through all the games, and you know, really smashing it out. Absolutely. So you will be getting a prize of some kind. We are trying to dot the I's and cross the T's at the moment of what we're going to be doing for these prizes at the moment. But there will be some organization being sent to your captain to try and sort of get that all organized from the Master of Lounge themselves, Cosmic, Dr. Petman. But yes, yeah, big congratulations. And of course, a big thank you to everyone who's been involved today so far, as well as yesterday, for sort of doing all the casting and the production, of course, from Samu, we're very grateful to have. But yeah, big well done to you guys. Really well done, and thank you everyone, of course, for watching back at home. But there we go. Yeah,
Thank you
super
very much.
stuff.
Hope
Hope
you
to
enjoy
see you
your
next
postcard.
season.
Definitely.
For sure.
Good. Well, I think that's all from me, isn't it, Sammy?
I guess.
Short and
At least
sweet
for
as well.
now.
Yes, I'll be back later. But yes, don't go anywhere.
Indeed. Yeah,
Yeah.
but not going anywhere. Talking about going anywhere. Maiev is one of those heroes which does not allow you to go anywhere with the pool, with the cage, maybe even the disc to take you in time, as well as Samuro. Those are two of the bans you just hammered in against the wrist port. Is it something like that is known about them?
Yeah, they have one very good Samuro player, and I think also a good Maiev player. So that's just two heroes that we don't want to play against. They should have never been added to the game, and they're terrible. So yeah, that's all the reason behind it. We don't want to play against those heroes.
Speaking of
Pretty
heroes that should
intelligent
never
heroes.
have been added to the game, you have been in Jones at the Haka to a great effect. So how did that work out for you?
Yeah, the Haka is a wonderful hero.
Sorry,
And, yeah.
sorry, Yosh is disconnecting. Wait, where do I kick him?
Nah, we just like to play the Haka. We like to play what we're good at. So we saw that some people were a bit surprised about our draft, especially on BOE, but we had full confidence in it.
Yeah, speaking about your heroes, you picked Imperius twice in this series, but I see that during the season, you haven't actually played a whole lot of Imperius. So what was the logic behind this pick?
Well, everyone likes surprises, right?
Yeah.
No, they banned the Haka, so we had to pick something else, I guess. It's not like we just play the Haka and
Aww. That makes me
Blaze.
sad now.
Yeah, play what you're good at.
Also think it's good to have a surprise for the final games.
Yeah,
Oh no.
and you saw that you saw the stuns. You saw that engage on BOE on the bot camp, flanked them, stunned I think 2 or 3 people, and we wiped them. So
All right.
It's always an added bonus to have a Lily main showing up and playing DPS as well.
Because
where
we
was
all
the
know
Lily,
that
though?
Lily is a DPS hero.
I think if it had gone on longer, I would have pressured these guys into letting me play Lily, but we didn't need it.
Yeah, talking
Next season.
talking
But
about
they
Azog
just
and his
told
hero
you
pool.
that they want more games.
You can mock my hero pool if you want.
Talking about Azog and his hero pool, how did you like adapt? Did you play with Azog before, or was it like a last second decision to put Azog in
no,
as a sub? And how was the drafting with him compared to with the other guys? Because you of course know the hero pool of your main player more than of Azog probably.
well, he subbed for us a few times in the last season and this season as well. And then in draft, we asked him what he wants to play. He said Lily, and we said no. And then, yeah. Then
I
he
also
landed on
asked for
Chromi-
Nova
Junkrat.
and Probius, but was told no as well.
Actually, I've checked the tapes. You have won against the report last season with Azog.
Mhm.
Yep.
True.
Me playing Chromie and Sylvanas and Lenara.
So
And we also banned Samuro and Maiev there. So.
and you've
Oh,
also
that's
won in 3
true.
maps.
Sorry?
You also played 3 maps.
Oh, yeah. But then we'd only won 2-1. So,
Yes.
Yeah, but these were 3 maps again in total being played. So.
Yeah. I mean, we would have enjoyed to play more maps, but winning a quick 3-0 is good. And I still have to finish something for university today, so.
Yeah, and then out of experience, I can say a long best of 5 might be really rough sometimes.
Yes.
All right,
along-
then go ahead, Josh.
A long best of 5 is where you bring everything out, including flush sharks and secret threats of picking up Abathur main damage. But yeah.
Oh, you
All
would
right,
have been surprised.
any more questions from Josh or Dusty Jim coming in here?
Not from me.
Well, just the usual question of all time. Do you have any shoutouts yourselves that you want to make?
Yeah. I want to shout out RTN Sneezy and I forgot his battle tag. Oh no.
Schiffskreuz.
RTN Schiffskreuz, because those are the teammates that will not be able to play today, and yeah, they're wonderful, and I hope they will come with us next season as well. And
They have to.
all our fans in chat, of course.
Alrighty, then thank you guys for joining us. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
a great game. Also, big thanks to the Resporter for being here today and fighting those guys here. But sadly, going down 3-0 for them, of course, sadly. But yeah, thanks for joining again and have a nice evening. Celebrate yourselves and yeah, see you guys next season, I guess.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. See you
Yeah.
next season. Thanks.
Thanks to you guys for casting as well. Always a good job.
You're welcome.
True.
Good luck next season.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Alright, Josh, Dusty Jim, this has been it with us three, so thank you for joining me. Anything before I have to kick you out of the channel and say goodbye for today to you?
Well, sadly, it was a very quick one, but I think Will deserved victory for Remember the Name. So again, congratulations to them, and thanks to everyone watching. Stay tuned. There's a Div 4 finals coming up. That's
Well,
all I'm gonna
I,
say.
for one, am extremely happy that I actually get to eat dinner with family for once. But on the flip side of things, yes, indeed, that is it for us for now. We will be back, or at least Samo will be back because he signs up for like 10 hours of work every weekend for 2 days in a row. I'm not sure how he does it, but he does. So yeah, Division 4 Cup finals are gonna be up in what, an hour and a half?
Yes.
Indeed, 1.5 hours until MQ Robotics and Only Chance will make the stage, and as I
Indeed.
will stay as a host and production running guy person dude thingy, and as casters I will have Transparent and Tas join me then. So thank you, Josh and Dusty Jim, for joining me here, and see
Have
you
fun out there.
guys
It's mandatory after all.
next time.
Thank
Bye
you for
bye.
having me. Goodbye.